Hello, my name is Andrew Thake from Minds and Money. Delighted to have with us today Jess Largent, Chief Financial Officer of Perpetua Resources.
Hi, Andrew.
Great to go and see you again, Jess. For those of us who haven't heard about Perpetua Resources, can you give us a quick company overview?
Yeah, of course, and thanks for having us. Perpetua Resources is focused on permitting and developing the Stibnite Gold Project in central Idaho, which is one of the top 10 mining jurisdictions in the world. Our shares trade on the NASDAQ and Toronto stock exchanges under the ticker symbol PPTA. We have about 30 employees, and our headquarters is based in Boise, Idaho. Our project is one of the largest, highest grade, and lowest cost open pit gold projects in the United States, and is designed to apply a modern, responsible mining approach to restore an abandoned mine site. And given our low cost, the Stibnite Gold Project has great economics with a 15-year reserve life and a payback period of less than 3 years. We plan to produce gold and a critical mineral called antimony. In fact, we are positioned to be the only mined source of antimony in the US, and we estimate that we could provide enough antimony to meet about 35% of annual US demand on average over the first 6 years of production. We did complete a feasibility study for our project in late 2020, which is also going through the NEPA permitting process now. That feasibility study had 6 million ounces of measured and indicated gold resources, which includes 4.8 million ounces of reserves. And then our antimony reserves are about 148 million pounds.
Wow. So listening to obviously like the overview of the company, there's a lot of like unique things about what Perpetua Resources have to offer. One thing that jumps out is obviously the antimony. Our investors listening in will be well aware of what are the uses of gold. Can you give us a bit of an overview as to what are the uses of antimony?
Yeah, of course. So a bit of context on why antimony is a critical mineral. It has been identified as one of the 50, given the US has no primary production, and China, Russia, and Tajikistan dominate the world supply with more than 90% of global production today. Historically, antimony has been used for its properties of strengthening alloys and making them resistant to corrosion, and as a flame retardant. So those were some of the big end uses. Now it's actually also being used in bearings for wind and hydro turbines, tinting for solar panels, it's in cell phones, semiconductors, plastics, cable sheathing, munitions, and a lot of other defense materials. So it is used in a lot, and no one really knows much about it. The other thing that it's used in that's very notable is a low-cost liquid metal battery. We actually signed a strategic agreement to supply a portion of our antimony to support the commercialization of Ambree's antimony-based low-cost liquid metal batteries. So their batteries not for EVs, it's for the long-duration daily cycling energy storage market. So it's essentially a battery that can store solar and wind for grid power.
So you've got a really interesting, unique project in a great mining jurisdiction, Idaho. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and the background of your management team?
Yeah, of course. So I joined the company in February of 2021. After we did a refresh and changed our name, we moved our headquarters to Boise, Idaho from Vancouver. We refreshed our board to set it up to get us through these final stages of permitting and into construction. And so I joined in February of 2021. Prior to Perpetua, I was with Newmont for 5.5 years. I led IR for 3.5 years there. And before that, led strategic planning. So really looking at internal capital allocation amongst projects across the Newmont portfolio. And prior to that, I was 10 plus years with Rio Tinto in a number of finance roles and across a number of commodities and product groups. So background in mining and finance, and really cut my teeth with some of the larger mining companies in the world, and found this asset and this team to be pretty unique and special. And so I wanted to be part of it and help get us through permitting and get funded for construction. So that's why I'm here. In terms of our management team, we've got Laurel Sayre as our CEO. Her background is actually in federal and natural resource policy, having worked with Congressman Mike Simpson and Senator Mike Crapo out of Idaho for 20 plus years. So very across the NEPA process and getting businesses permitted in Idaho. Then we've got Alan Haslam, our VP of permitting, and he's got a long track record of successfully permitting projects in Idaho and across North America more broadly. We have Mackenzie Lyon, who leads our external affairs. So she essentially leads the direct advocacy and social license development for our project, with a background in public affairs and public policy. So the strong support we have in Idaho is certainly a credit to her and the team and getting that support locally. And then we've got Michael Bogert, who's our general counsel. So 35 years in law, with experience as counsel to the governors of Idaho and California, regional administrator of the EPA, and counselor to the Secretary of the Department of the Interior. So a very strong team that's very committed to advancing this project.
Can you tell us a little bit about your investor base and who your key shareholders are?
Yeah, so we've got Paulson & Co. at about 39%. They've been long-term shareholders since 2016 and have participated in all of our financings and believe in this project and the vision and how we can restore the site, but also provide the critical mineral antimony, all by developing a world-class gold asset. Our second largest shareholder is Sun Valley Gold, followed by Coppernick, both positions over 8%. And then overall, we have about 63 million shares outstanding, 66 million fully diluted. So yeah, a very strong shareholder base that's in it for the long run to see this project developed.
So over the course of the next 12 months for both investors and prospective investors, what can they expect to see? Can you just tell us a bit about some of the key milestones?
Yeah, we have a number of exciting catalysts on the horizon and over the next 12 months. The biggest and first of which is that we expect the U.S. Forest Service, who's our lead permitting agency, to release very soon to the public its focused supplemental environmental impact statement for our project, which is required under the federal NEPA permitting process. So we expect that in the fourth quarter of this year, so very soon. And we are hopeful that the Forest Service will designate our project as the preferred alternative when it releases its supplemental EIS, which really narrows the scope for the remainder of the process. And so rather than assessing a number of alternatives and the environmental impacts, we expect them to designate our project as the preferred alternative. So going forward, that is then all we're focused on through the final stages of NEPA permitting. And we think we've got a well-defined path towards that final record of decision for our project, which could be as soon as late 23.
Mm-hmm. And just kind of one final question I'd like to ask. Obviously, ESG and sustainability is obviously something that everyone asks about these days, and so do a lot of our investors. What are your ESG sustainability credentials?
Yeah, well, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a mining company that has ESG so foundational to what we're doing. As we said, our vision is to not only develop a world-class gold asset, but to restore an abandoned site. So most mining companies are talking about how they will reclaim what they disturb. For us, the site's been, abandoned for nearly 100 years due to prior mining activity, and we get to, as part of our redevelopment, restore the site to conditions it hasn't seen in 100 years. So we are building a fish tunnel to restore fish passage that's been blocked for 80 years. We will pick up 10.5 million tons of legacy tailings and waste and reprocess some of the tailings, and then repurpose some of that waste material and make sure it's stored properly in a fully lined tailings facility going forward that's capped. And so we are doing more than just reclaiming what we disturb. We're actually restoring an area that needs restoration badly. So it is foundational to our business plan and what we're doing, but also then things like our AMBRI agreement, So directly linking our project and our antimony to the clean energy transition. So, the fact that our antimony can go into this low cost liquid metal battery, and that our current minimum supply commitment could power 1 million American homes with clean energy. There's a direct link there. In terms of other things we're doing, I mean, we've put out our 9th annual sustainability report. So transparency has always been top of mind for us, and we're constantly reporting on future goals and how we're progressing towards those goals. We also put out a sustainability roadmap that talks, will keep us honest in what we're trying to achieve as we move towards development. And with this 9th annual sustainability report, we align to the SASB reporting framework to make it easier for investors to compare and contrast. And we'll just continue to increase that transparency and reporting as we ramp up towards construction. Well,
that sounds absolutely fantastic. You've got marvelous ESG credentials, really unique projects, fantastic lineup of investors supporting you, great management team. We do really wish you all the best and look forward to seeing you at future events. That was Jess Largent, Chief Financial Officer of Perpetua Resources.